Today, on Be Something Wonderful, after this, you will never doubt your wish fulfilled ever again. I am your host, Tom Kearin, and this is the Be Something Wonderful studio of higher consciousness, where we help you level up and become the best version of yourself. Creators, welcome back. I want to talk about an email from a subscriber that I received yesterday who is now a client. And haven't met with her yet, but we're going to have a session. So here's the thing. This email, it was so filled with love and gratitude that I even found myself being lifted to an even higher level of love and gratitude. It was incredible, and I want to share a piece of this. It was a long email, and there's a lot of parts to it, and it will come. We'll hit a few of those, but I really want to get to the gold in this. And here's what she said: I just adore your channel. I just received the biggest commission in my life. I stopped doubting God. Thank you, thank you. This is just one piece I wanted to pull out because it summarizes everything, right? She was referring to some videos on the channel, and I don't remember where they are or when they were, but I think she was talking about Neil Donald Walsh and this I am that I've talked about, that when you're doubting yourself, when you're doubting your wish fulfilled, you're doubting God. She went in sort of deeper into that as well. And then she said, by the way, I'm the one who thought I booked a session, but it didn't go through, and then rescheduled it 3 times. I'm so excited for it. So now I think I know who she is. And I think there's different emails there, but I'm really excited. And of course, I love this. No, everything's the perfect unfolding. That's the perfect unfolding. But this email was so filled with love and gratitude that you can't help feel that I amness. This whole idea, remember, I am is without any doubt whatsoever. I am is just gratitude. Gratitude for existence. Gratitude for being who you are. Gratitude for that greater reality, right? And remember, doubt implies I am not. This is a video that she was referring to, or a few videos now, right? Which is impossible. It's impossible not to be. You exist and will always exist. So what's the key here? And this is what we'll probably unpack in the session. That when you doubt, you're implying I am not. That's impossible. So you can only create I am, meaning I am what I don't want. Do you see it? You create the experience of that unwanted reality. You create the experience of pulling into your experience what you don't want. Because there's only isness. You create, you see, receive what you don't want because you're doubting. And I am not's impossible. So you're doing the impossible. You're pulling in what you don't want into your existence. Remember, God only says yes, but that comes from a metaphysical principle that there's only isness. So she went into some of these things, and we're going to go into some of that in our session, and I'll have some follow up on that. But I want to really hit the lesson today around this and some of the points that she was pointing to. Remember, your assumption of your wish already fulfilled is an announcement of reality. She even brought that up in her email, because I've said that in many videos now over the last couple years, right? I am that, right? God's answer to Moses, I am that, I am that I am. I am that. And I pointed to this to yesterday's video. I'm not sure if she's on the membership channel or whether she saw that, but that powerful video yesterday in the membership channel, that's God's word. I am that is a code. It's a God code. It's saying I am that. It's declaring, it's announcing your isness. It's announcing reality. It's announcing you're the son of God. You're the son of that higher power. You're one with it. That's an announcement. So when you doubt your desired outcome and imagine reality, you're doubting God. You're doubting that higher power. You're doubting existence. And that's impossible. That you don't exist, that you don't have everything. Do you see what's going on here? She really got this. Biggest commission in her life. Well, we'll see what that means. You were created in the image and likeness of God, the great I am. And what God creates is perfect, unchanging, eternal, and forevermore. I've talked about this in previous videos where I even right? I kind of go into conversations with God a little bit because I thought Neale Donald Walsch, or God through Neale Donald Walsch, unpacks this great, right? How can God not unpack it perfectly, right? The outcome is a sure thing. What God assumes, God becomes. Therefore, your assumption is a fervent statement of what is so. This comes from conversations with God. It's a declaration of what is so. So when you doubt, you're saying, I am not. But what you're really saying is, I am this unwanted reality. And that makes it so. Wow, that's powerful. So I am what I don't want to be is what you're really saying, right? When you doubt, that is, create fear or resistance to an unwanted reality or outcome, you're announcing I am not. You're announcing that unwanted reality, right? You're announcing I am not. That is God, that God is not, and that's impossible. Wow, that's impossible. God always says yes, yes, because God is. Therefore, you are announcing I am what I do not wish and desire to be when you doubt your desired end. Do you hear it? That's what you're announcing. You're announcing I am what I do not wish or desire to be. I am that unwanted reality. I am what I don't want. Wow. She got this, right? So, Neale Donald Walsch, Conversation with God, it's not God's function to create or uncreate the circumstances of your life. You create or uncreate those. God created you in the image and likeness of God. You have created the rest through the God power God has given you. This is Neale Donald Walsch, God through Neale Donald Walsch. And it's not just some power that God's given you. It's God's good pleasure to give you the kingdom. You have all power running through you. All power of all time, of infinity, right? That's the true meaning of free will. Your freedom to choose your experience of ultimate reality. That's what we mean by free will. You have the free will to choose what is going to be your experience of ultimate reality. Wow, that's powerful. God's will for you is perfect love, peace, joy, and freedom. But, hear this, what you will or choose for you is also God's will. God doesn't meddle in the middle. I've talked about this before. God doesn't get in the way of your choices, of your free will to experience ultimate reality, whether you're consciously or unconsciously creating that, right? So God doesn't meddle in the middle. Father, and remember, this is really the true meaning, what Jesus said when he was in the garden. If it is your will, take this cup away from me. Nevertheless, not my will, but yours be done. What's God's will? Perfect peace, perfect joy. That's what it means to give up or give up to God or surrender it to God. Surrender it to the higher will, which is also your will, right? If it is your will, take this cup from me. All this, meaning take these thoughts and these unwanted realities and this suffering and this struggling, right? Nevertheless, not my will, but yours. God's will is what you will. So you're the only one that can relieve that struggle, that can create another reality. But God wills this for you. So when you let go, when you surrender, then that will be the greater will being invoked. Do you get it? I am that I am. There's no doubt. There's no fear. There's no lack of faith. There's no I am not here. It's just I am, right? That's God's will. God's will is not doubt, fear, lack of faith. I am not. I am that I am. That's what my name forever and ever, for all generations. In Conversations with God through Neale Donald Walsch, he debunks, and I've talked about this maybe in a few videos now, both on the membership channel and on the public channel, debunks two huge limiting beliefs. One, that some prayers are answered and some are not. That God is arbitrary. That you believe that creation, reality creation, the law of being, the law of assumption, the law of attraction, the law of resonance, the law of frequency, the law of correspondence, the law of cause and effect, the law of you reap what you sow, whatever that is, whatever you want to call it, you believe it's arbitrary. And some are answered and some are not. And that the outcome of life is in doubt. He debunks both of these. I am not's impossible. There's just I am. The outcome is assured, meaning fulfillment is assured, meaning it's yours, and that all prayers are answered, right? Note, this is what Walsh says. God through Walsh. No prayer goes unanswered. It's always yes, right? Thoughts, it's always what you're thinking, feeling, believing, and assuming, right? Now, but what does that really mean? It means all thoughts creative, but that doesn't mean that all thoughts manifest in your experience. Do you hear it? All thoughts creative. All prayers get answered, right? All thoughts creative, but not all of it manifests in your experience. Why? Well, instead, the most dominant thought, idea, assumption becomes operant or manifests in your reality. Remember, you're the operant power. You determine that. What Neale Donald Walsh calls the sponsoring thought, or think of it as the principal assumption, or sponsoring assumption, or root assumption, or your law of assumption, your main idea, who you're conscious of being. That's what Walsh is saying. Your sponsoring thought is who and what you're conscious of being. That's why Jesus asked, who do you say I am, right? In other words, who and what are you conscious of being? The law of assumption. It is the thought behind the thought. That is the controlling thought, the sponsoring thought. Your predominant assumption, identity, viewpoint. Who do you say I am, right? Not who do you say you're not. Who do you say you are, right? So, I am that is a declaration. It's an announcement, it's an assumption of your new reality and wish already fulfilled. Make it a prayer, a statement of gratitude. That's what Neale Donald Walsh, God says through Neale Donald Walsh. It's really a statement of gratitude. I am that. And you can't doubt and be in gratitude at the same time. You can't. You would have to be saying, when you're doubting, you're saying, I am not. And when you're saying, I am not, you're not feeling gratitude. You're feeling doubt. You're feeling fear. You're feeling that the outcome is in question, that fulfillment's in question, right? Jesus resurrecting Lazarus. In other words, Jesus rising in consciousness. Your I am. Your I amness, as I am, rising in consciousness of being already that which you desire to be, already having that which you desire to have. That's what the resurrection, any resurrection, means, right? Father, I thank you that you have heard me, and I know that you always hear me. In other words, you can't be grateful and be in doubt at the same time. They can't coexist. Jesus moves right to gratitude in advance. It's there. That's what we really mean. This is what happened with my client. I will fill you in more after I talk to her. But the biggest commission ever in her life, it was an email filled, it's an email that I was feeling that I was feeling elevated emotions like crazy, right? Feeling that true source coming through her, right? After this, you will never doubt your wish fulfilled ever again. I am your host, Tom Kearin, and this is the Be Something Wonderful studio of higher consciousness, where we help you level up and become the best version of yourself. Creators, thank you. Thank you for being with me. Thank you for liking and sharing and commenting on the videos. We have a Facebook group, the Be Something Wonderful Ambassadors, at facebook.com/groups/Be Something Wonderful, where you can share insight and guidance with others and ask for insight and guidance. Also visit us on Instagram and Twitter at Tom Kearin. We have a Facebook page at Be Something Wonderful, or just go to our website anytime at tomkearin.com or besomethingwonderful.com. With great love, with great light and infinite gratitude, creators, we'll see you soon.